Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about alcoholism. Just a little bit about alcoholism, and especially from this point of view. He goes to work every day. So how could he have a drinking problem? She goes to work every day. So how could she have a drinking problem? Well, some people believe an alcohol problem has to look like somebody lying in the street. No. Everybody lying in the street with a bottle in their hand, that may be an alcohol problem, but sometimes it doesn't look like that. What if he or she gets up every morning? What if he or she goes to work? What if all the bills are paid? What if he or she looks perfectly normal to everyone outside the house? I mean, they're functioning. And what if people closest to him know that alcohol has been quietly controlling the evening, the conversation, the mood, and perhaps the entire household? Oh, I know something about a functioning alcoholic because I lived with one at one time. And so I do know. And nobody knew what was going on. Only in the house did you see the mood change. You see things happening. What do you do when everybody sees a responsible person, because the person was responsible, but you see what happens after the door closes? See, you see the responsible person at work, admired by many, outstanding, upstanding, sometimes has a high title in the church, has a great job, people love him or her, and they look at them with admiration, and not knowing that they took a drink to even get out the door. They do it so well, they hide it. It's like a drug person, but that is a drug. What am I saying? That is a drug. So tonight we need to have a careful conversation about something that may be happening in more than one home. I know that we realize a person can have a serious drinking problem and still go to work. I know that. And you know some people that went to work. Some sat on benches. Oh yeah. Some actually drove vehicles for a living. Some school teachers. I mean, alcoholism doesn't have a specific genre of person, of people, of race, ethnicity. None of that. It can happen to the best without people knowing it, without you knowing it. A person can have a serious drinking problem and still go to work. He or she may have a respected position. I know some people like that now. And the bills are paid, they attend church. Oh, don't mention how they attend church. And they laugh with their friends. And because they're still functioning in public, people assume everything is fine. The only people who know, that really know, are the people who live in the house with the person. And when the person lives by themselves, it's really, I don't know how they get up and do it. But functioning is not the same thing as being healthy. Functioning is not the same thing as being free. And keeping a job does not prove that alcohol is not causing harm. I know that the alcohol is causing harm. You know that the alcohol is causing harm. Try to have a conversation with a person like that. It's going to be a difficult conversation. It may be abusive. It may be some abuse takes place. The person was shut down. You're trying to help them, and they will hide the liquor, or you'll see them drinking a Coke bottle, and you see a Coke, and you think they're drinking a Coke, and they've already docked it up. The dark liquor, if they drink dark liquor, or you see them with a Sprite, and you think it's a Sprite, or they'll say it's a Sprite. I mean, these people lie very well, and then they have lots of gum, and lots of mints, and lots of everything. But those of us who have that nose, we have that NOSE, and we KNOW. We do. And here's the difficult part. Sometimes the job is the last thing to fall apart. They do well on the job, like super. They're like super agents, super everything. on a job, and people looking at them and say, oh my God, he or she does so well. Oh my gosh, oh look what they did today. Because they have a knack for being able to balance. And oftentimes they're brilliant people. Sometimes so the family may suffer first, or the marriage may suffer first, or the health may suffer silently because they don't know that they're destroying their health, or they don't care. Trust may disappear. The house may become emotionally tense. Everyone may learn how to read the sound of the key in the door, the footsteps in the hallway, or the tone of the first sentence. You know, when you live in a house with that person, you have to see, did they have a drink in the car before they came in? Or when they got in, was it the same person you saw at lunch or spoke to at lunch? That personality changes as they get more alcohol and as it gets darker outside. It gets darker inside. I tell you, has drinking become a daily necessity? Most of the time, you know that these people are drinking, and their little group knows it, but they hide it from. They don't hide it from each other, but they hide it within a group of people that supports them in such a way that they don't want anybody else to know, because it would destroy the facade of who they are, of the essence of who they are, you see. And so there are some of us who know, we know some people that have some big jobs and they drink on it, nobody says anything, as long as they keep it moving, doesn't do any harm to anyone publicly. How do you walk upon a person that's very prominent and you say to them, I know you're drinking? You don't, that's not what people do. People say, I mind my business. Don't you say that? You mind your business. Has drinking become a daily necessity? Yes. Does he or she drink more than he or she intended? I have seen that. I've seen prominent people out hiding it and then enablers being there because they don't want anybody to, they don't want to be embarrassed, have an embarrassing situation for the alcoholic, the person who's suffering from alcoholism, and they don't want they don't want it to be embarrassing for the entity, the job, or the institution, or the marriage. It's a lot. And so everybody's very careful about how they handle the person. So the person hides their bottles and they disguise the amount. You've seen this. You've seen this on television, or you've seen stories like this, and it really happens. And do they drive after drinking? What bothers me is if I see, the person driving, it really bothers me. Oftentimes they do know that they should not drive because they don't want to be caught and they have to pass the test and then that may come out in the news. So I noticed they do a good job of that. So what do you do? What can we do? So you could say something to the person's going to deny it. And that's where the argument comes in. You don't want to, I don't like that arguing part. So number one, do not let appearances confuse you, because they can confuse you. They can confuse you. I've seen the men and women do an excellent job of confusing you, when those of us who know, but you don't know. And then anger does not prove that you're wrong. They will get angry with you for even approaching the subject, even broaching the subject, and so, and you're on the outside looking in, then you almost just stay outside. You have to almost stay outside because you're going to need somebody. You have to get inside with somebody else that's inside, but you have to stay outside. To me, you got to stay outside. You got to get with the person inside that can maybe help them along. Your first responsibility is not to produce a confession. You don't want a confession. Your first responsibility is safety. If that person's tone changes, or they have an abusive nature about them, or combative nature, You don't want to get a confession. That's not your job to get the confession. You already know it's there. Your job is to get help. And you have to go to professionals for that help. Number 3, speak about what you observe, not what you cannot prove. So you're talking about what shoulda, coulda, woulda. No. What you saw, what you smell, what you witnessed. And you don't want to be, I guess, on tape saying you are an alcoholic. I don't know. I just think that you could say, I'm concerned because you drank every evening this week. Like if you see them, you say, oh, let's not drink today. Because it looks like you drank every day this week. You've been drinking every day. Or something. It's a way to remind them that you know. Remind them you know. You can say, I was frightened when you drove after drinking. Or if the person does drive and say, you know what? I saw you take a drink at that party and you actually got in a car. Say something that maybe will entice them. Or you could say, I love you, but I will not ride with you after you've been drinking. I got some people I love dearly. That I will not ride with them because they drink a little too much for me. And I love them dearly, but I'm not doing that. No, because I don't know. And they say I can handle it, and they have handled it. They have handled it quite well. But I just think that it's just a little much because, I don't know. You just need to look out for yourself and look out for them too. And pray all the time for them. I pray all the time for my friends that I know. Because I myself could probably find a drink to be refreshing or take some of the pressure off sometimes, but I choose not to go that route. I think I've seen what happens when you go that route. And a better route is through prayer and just through thinking about how to do things differently. So you can also offer to find treatment for the person. They may not know that they're that far gone, that they actually are wasted and don't know it. Just actually in an alcoholic stupor and think that they're okay. I have not seen any of the people that I know who drink in an alcoholic stupor. But I did see one night that was just on the edge, but he was holding up well. But I heard later that he didn't hold it up well. So it's an illness, it's a sickness, and we have to be conscious of that and try to reach out and help. And number 4, love cannot do the recovering for the person. You can love on them and love on them and love on them, but they have to love on themselves enough to want to recover. You can plead, you can explain, you can present evidence. I know so well. You can cry, you can pray, all that. You can arrange an appointment, but if they don't want to stop, they're just not going to stop. And you sitting there on the side. You don't want the person may be in the house with you, maybe your spouse or your loved one, however, and you don't know what to do about it. I mean, my father, my real father, drank a lot. When I would go and see him, I would just be so glad to see him. And I got where I was glad to see him, however, because now I look back on it, I think maybe as an artist, I think about him being an artist and not maybe getting the big band calls anymore, or not being able to play here and there, or not doing any music. I'm not making excuses for why, but I can say I look back on it and I think about his musical career, and a lot of things I look back on now. I wasn't able to see them as a child because I was a child. I was just in and out when I could see him. And so alcohol for older people is even worse because I'm part of the older people. And sometimes I just want to have a drink, just to have a drink. Just because don't nobody know what I'm thinking or how the impact of getting older has impacted me mentally and physically, really, but mentally. how you look in the mirror, you don't know who that person is, or how you in love with someone that you are older and that person is, you look older. You beginning to look like you look, and you can't do anything about it. You know, it's just nothing you can do about any of it. And you look back over some of the things you wish you had done, all the things you lost, and it's nowhere to go but to death. And you like, sometimes I just might need that crown roar to just help me through those few minutes. But I have enough, I think, about me to just say, no, let me just get on up. Come back in front of the slice of life. Write me another book. You gotta, it's a mental thing you have to work on. Nobody asks us how we feel, because nobody cares about how older people feel. We're in the way mostly. And so you have to make your own way and get out of their way. Get out of young people's way. Get in your own way. Make your own way. Do your own thing, because nobody really gives a flip about your opinion anymore, because your opinion is old. They will tell you as soon as they can how old you are. And if you want to be reminded of your age, ask somebody younger, and they will refer to you as an old person. And so you still got youth on your side in your head, and you still want to have a relationship with somebody, and they're laughing at you, and they don't know they're going to get older, and they're going to want to have a relationship with somebody, and somebody younger is going to be laughing at them. And so you have to just pull yourself away from others and get on your own journey. And that's why it gets to be a lonely journey sometimes, because you're by yourself. Because only other seniors understand other seniors. That's why they have the senior citizen homes, I guess, where they all can talk to one another, or they all know what they've been through, or there's a whole dating thing that people laugh at seniors who date, and they don't even know. They have no idea what's going on with us. So anyway, number 5, do not tell a long-time heavy drinker to just stop. Are you kidding me? This person been drinking a long time. You're going to say, well, just stop. It doesn't work like that. No. Recovery should begin with medical guidance. This is an illness. They need a doctor. They need somebody to talk to, a primary care person, an addiction specialist. You just can't roll up in there and say, just say no. What the heck? There's some treatment that needs to be involved, And what can a family do? I don't know what the family can do. Secrecy gives the problem room to grow, but first tell one trustworthy person what is happening. So you need to tell somebody what is happening. In this case, I know a lot of people who know, but people are not saying anything. And we're not going to say anything. I don't know, in my case, I'm so far removed, I'm going to be way in the back of the room, waiting for the others to catch up. I'm not building a case. I'm not trying to be in an argument. I'm going to have to let the person go on and do what he or she is doing, because I'm out of place. I'm so far removed, but I'm not. And so all I can do is pray for them. That's all I can do. And for you at home with the person, have a safety plan and know where you can go, and keep important telephone numbers, and keep something where you can, if you had to get out of the way, then you get out of the way and you call somebody to come and help them help themselves. It's an emotional thing. It's very emotional. There may be somebody who's watching tonight that know I'm talking about you. Now you know somebody in your family. It's emotional. Anyway, it's kind of hard to stop whenever you want, because you want to stop. But it's cold turkey is good. But what started it in the first place? That is the point. That's why you need a medical person, because they need to go back to the root of the problem. I would have liked to go back to the root of my dad's problem. Where did he make the switch? And he worked, but he didn't work in the job that he wanted to work in. And I can certainly understand at 84, I am still wanting to put on a one-woman show. again because that first one was successful, and I am wanting to sing somewhere with some teeth. And I am really wanting my music to be sung or part of a movie. I want all of that. I'm not going to drink to get it, but I really want that to happen. And so I'm asking God is to honor my prayer and to continue to be out here working for it, putting it everywhere I can, and seeing what happens. And that keeps me going. But there are people who say, I've been doing this, and then they start drinking. You don't do that. Start drinking and doing drugs because they feel like their years and years, they have value and they've lost value. Do not devalue yourself because of your age or your time. Stop devaluing yourself. Trust in God. You don't believe in trusting God, but I do. I do. So I just need you to think about, nobody knows that person drinks, but you do. And they manage to maintain their life. But I think you ought to call, there's a 1-800 number, 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-HELP. It's for mental health or substance abuse. You can always, if you see danger, call 911. But there's 1-800-662-HELP. I'll put it in the description. Because these people need medical guidance. They need somebody. And they need this show tonight. I feel it in my heart that the person that's watching this knows I'm talking about him. He knows I'm talking about him. And I have a her too. But a him. I don't know what to do about it. All I know to do is what I'm doing. Is to say I love you. I'm praying for you. And the person's doing a good job on the job too. I mean, just the best job. Functioning well. But I'm too far removed to be able to do anything about it, except put this show up and hope that those of you who are close to somebody like this, that you would do something about it, that you would work towards making a difference. We must make a difference. Anyway, what hasn't been different is that all my shows I've said I love you. And all my shows I need a thumbs up. I hope this is a thumbs up show and a comment, because the algorithms work funny when you don't have a thumbs up. So I hope you will give me a thumbs up tonight. In the meantime, in between time, I love you, and you can't do anything about it.